Callie, where are you? It's getting late. What time are you planning on getting home? You've been completely neglecting the chores that need to be done in this house. You left early this morning without doing a single thing. How many hours do you think have gone by? Your irresponsibility is ridiculous. You're really putting me in a tough situation here. Get back here right now and clean up this mess.
I'm sorry for the delay. It's been a hectic day. I'm just about to go to the market and then I'll head home.
Well, if you're going to the market, don't forget to get some bread. I need some soup and beer for your father-in-law too. Make sure you get that as well. You're driving here, right? You should be able to put all of that in your trunk.
Okay, I'll get everything.
And how are you feeling now? Are you any better?
Yes, I'm not completely better, but my stomach has settled down a bit.
To be honest, it's been nice to having you around. I was thrilled about it at first. However, you tend to get sick very easily and you're not as considerate as I had hoped. I actually feel like there's nothing good coming out of living with you. You barely help. You always use your sickness as an excuse to avoid all the work.
I'm sorry to hear about that, but please don't think it's intentional. I really can't help it.
At the least, I'd like you to fulfill your role as a daughter-in-law. If you could do at least that, I'd be satisfied. But it doesn't seem likely. I guess it'll be some time before I have the chance to see any grandkids.
Actually, since you mentioned that, I have something to tell you.
What is it? Don't tell me your body is too weak to conceive. Don't tell me that.
No, it's the opposite. I haven't told you, but I'm pregnant.
What? Are you serious? Are you really pregnant? Is there a baby inside you right now?
Yes, I'm 3 months pregnant. I didn't want to say anything in the first trimester, but since it's almost over, I feel a bit more secure. Leah, I'm pregnant.
Oh my God. You should have told me sooner. So was today's visit to the doctor actually an ultrasound visit?
It was. To be honest, I wasn't planning on telling anyone until next month. Once everything is stable and the baby is safe. But I am getting sicker than expected. Because of that in the pregnancy, I may need more support and compassion, but I don't want to trouble anyone. That's why I decided to tell you the truth.
We are living together, so you do know that I would have noticed your pregnancy before 4 months, right? If you had told me, I wouldn't have been pushing you to come home and tidy up all this time. So what's the sex? Is it a boy or a girl? Which one?
I don't know yet. It's too soon to tell.
Oh yeah, you're only 3 months along, so you wouldn't know yet. But I'm so happy. I'm going to have another grandchild and this will be your first child. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm happy too. I feel so much better now that I've told you.
Let's have a feast to celebrate the news. I'll make something special. I'll tell Adam so we can all rejoice together. While you're at the store, pick up some steak and potatoes. That's one of your favorites, right?
It is. I'll get that and a few other things.
It's going to get busy around here from now on. Once you find out the sex, let me know right away. Don't wait like you did this time.
Of course. I'll try to get home as fast as I can.
Relax. Don't rush yourself. Just drive carefully. It would be tragic if you got into an accident. All because of a dinner party. Take your time.
Thank you so much for understanding. I'll take my time and get home as soon as possible.
Over 1 month later.
Callie, I'm on my way home. Make sure all of the chores and such are complete by the time I get there. Pick the weeds out of the yard too, please.
Okay, I'll be sure to have it all done. But Leah, I'm not feeling too well today. I have been feeling really dizzy, so it'd make more time than usual for me to finish everything.
Are you complaining about your health again? Maybe it's because you aren't exercising enough. Didn't they tell you that you need to gain some strength so you can have a healthy delivery?
I don't think that's the issue. I feel like I'm getting sick because of the hormone imbalance.
You're just too weak-minded. You need to be more confident and push through all of this. You're a mother now, Callie. This is just the beginning. If you don't get yourself together, it's going to be much more difficult for you in the future.
You're right. I've just never experienced this before, but I don't know if I can fully blame it on my mental strength like you suggest.
I have been going out of my way to pray that you have an easy birth. Don't give up on me now. If you do, I don't even think God could be of much help to you. You need to help yourself and push through. My daughter is having twins and is doing just fine. If anything, she should be going through a much harder time than you. You only have one child inside of you. Stop complaining. You're fine.
If you put it like that, all I can do is agree. It must be hard to be pregnant with 2 babies. I'll try to deal with this as best I can.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to criticize you or anything. You know that, right? It's just that you tend to take breaks or give up at the smallest hint of pain. You end up laying down and doing nothing for the rest of the day. I don't think that's a good habit to have. Once you become a mother, there will be many times when you're sick or feeling horrible. But you will have to push through to take care of your child in the house. You need to start preparing yourself for that now, not later. Being pregnant means you're already a mother. You need to start acting like one.
Thank you for caring enough to tell me that. It seems like I have a lot to prepare for.
On top of that, you and my daughter are pregnant at the same time. Who would have thought something like this could happen? Between the two of you, I'm so busy. Before you give birth, we need to take you to the church and get you prayed over in hopes of a smooth delivery. Right now, I can only imagine you having a boy. We have to make sure you're healthy enough to give birth to him. I'll make sure that happens.
Like I said, I'll try my best. But no matter what the gender of the baby is, I'm gonna cherish it. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl.
Even if that's how you feel, I'm praying for a boy. That would be best. However, regardless of the situation, the baby has my son's genes, so it'll all be okay. I'd hate if the child comes out with a weak immune system like yours. To have a life where you're always sick and lying around is no life at all. I don't wish that upon my grandchild. Hopefully my son's genes are more dominant. Don't say anything negative before giving birth to that child. It'll taint the pregnancy.
Again, I'm so sorry about that. There's nothing I can do. I wouldn't be living like this if I didn't have to. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get back to cleaning now.
Oh wow, are my messages getting in the way of you cleaning? Am I interrupting you or something?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. Because of my situation, cleaning takes me a lot longer than usual. I just want to make sure I get everything finished. I don't want to cause any more trouble for you than I already have.
Okay, well, make sure everything I mentioned is done to perfection before I get home. Being pregnant isn't some kind of sickness, so it won't hinder you from your everyday chores. Get everything done and make sure you do it without complaining from now on.
Several months later.
Hey Leah. I finished my checkup at the hospital. I'm on my way home now.
So, how's the baby? Tell me it's healthy, right? There's nothing wrong, right?
Don't worry. The baby's fine. The doctor said it's growing healthily and everything looks great.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear that. I was so worried. Now that that's out of the way, there's something that I want to tell you. My daughter has decided to come back home and give birth here, so I need you to get out of the house for a bit.
Excuse me? Daniela, I'm pregnant too. Did you forget? Are you kicking a pregnant woman out of your house?
That may be true, but isn't it obvious? My daughter's child and pregnancy takes precedence over yours. Don't make such a big deal out of it. Go to your own family's house and give birth there. That shouldn't be a problem, should it?
You're the one who asked me to come over here and pushed me to give birth in a hospital near you. Because of that, I've done all of the preparation to make it happen and haven't done any of the paperwork necessary to give birth in a hospital elsewhere.
There's still 3 months left before you give birth. That's plenty of time to handle things and figure it all out. I need you to leave by the end of this month. That's plenty of time for you to find a hospital back in your hometown where you can give birth.
I guess I have no choice. I'm really shocked by this.
Is there something that you're in disagreement with?
No, not really. It's just that I haven't given any thought to returning home for this. I'm a bit thrown off.
If it wasn't for you two being pregnant at the same time, this wouldn't be happening. But it's reality. After realizing this, didn't you at least consider it a possibility? Not to mention the fact that my daughter is giving birth to twins. That alone puts her ahead of you. In terms of importance, helping her requires more effort and assistance. It's honestly exhausting, but that can't be helped.
You do have a point. I can see why you're making the decision that you are. I'll call my parents and let them know that I'll be going back home.
Yes, please do that. Even after giving birth, my daughter will be staying here with me for a bit. Don't bother coming back here for about 6 months. She should be ready to leave by then.
Okay, that won't be a problem. I wish you all the best of luck.
But isn't this actually a good thing? Your parents are most likely going to be ecstatic when they hear the news. No matter how you think of it. As a parent, the most beautiful babies are the ones that your own give birth to. I know they are going to be very happy to witness the birth. Oh wait. I'm so sorry. That was probably a little rude. I indirectly told you my daughter's baby will be cuter than yours. I probably should not have said that.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I didn't take offense to it.
Anyway, if you end up giving birth to a boy, that'll be the ideal outcome. But if you end up having a girl, my daughter's baby will definitely be prioritized over yours. She'd be the one to actually inherit everything, so it makes sense. Just let me say one thing. Just because you're going back home doesn't mean you should be lazy. Don't lay around doing nothing like you have been. You need to kill that habit. If it's a boy, you won't even be able to relax. Raising a boy is like a constant test of your physical strength. I won't be there to look over you, so make sure you're exercising every day and gaining strength.
I will. Don't worry. I appreciate the advice.
Well, that's all I really had to say this time around. Start getting your things ready as soon as possible. Remember, I need you out within the month.
6 months later.
Callie, when are you coming back from your parents' house? How much time do you think has elapsed since you gave birth? You've been away for too long.
Hi, Leah. It's been ages since I last heard from you. I think it's been exactly 6 months since you kicked me out of the house. That's how long you told me to stay away for, right?
Yeah, whatever. Just get back here already. You've already delivered. So it's high time for me to see my grandson. I can't wait to see him. As expected, my daughter's twins were adorable. They're cute, but it's a pity that her face looks exactly like her mother-in-law's. Fortunately, your child resembles his father. That's such a blessing for me.
Do you really think so? Also, I think it's high time I told you. But I have no intention of returning to your home.
Are you out of your mind? What are you saying right now? How can you possibly say something like that when you're married to my son? You haven't even mastered your duties at this point. You are nothing but a half-baked housewife. I still have to teach you how to do your chores properly.
Oh no. Thanks, but no thanks, Leah. I'll manage.
What do you mean by I'll manage? That's not something for you to decide on your own. It seems like you've been spoiled rotten during your time at your parents'.
Both your son and husband agreed that it would be fine if I didn't come back to your house, so I kindly disagree with what you're saying.
What? What do you mean? They agreed. You talked to them about this absurd idea of yours?
I did, but that's really none of your business. I've already started my life with my child in a new house. As soon as you told me to get lost, Kent and I started looking for a new place. In other words, what I'm telling you is that both Kent and I moved.
You moved? What? You're lying, right? That makes no sense. Besides, you still have all your stuff here at my place. You couldn't have moved.
Did you check the closets and drawers? Kent has been taking things out bit by bit for me. A lot should be gone by now. He came by when you were at home, gathered everything and moved all of the big stuff. You didn't notice, because you were always using the furniture that was there originally.
So, wait, does that mean that Kent saying he would stop by to see the baby on his way home from work was a lie? Instead, he was actually going home to that new house he bought?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And you said my husband agreed to this mess?
Adam and Kent both warned me about you, and they were completely right. You've been very rude to me since we moved in together and forced me to do things against my will after I got pregnant. Did you already forget how you've been treating me? Why would I come back?
I did and said everything in order to help you. It was all for your own good. And last time I checked, you were nodding along with everything I said. So I really don't get it. What's the problem?
I definitely resisted everything you were saying at first. But the way I phrased everything probably gave you the false impression that I was agreeing. But what's done is done. We can't change anything now. We had just moved in together and I was sure you wanted it to go well, so I didn't have much room to say what I really wanted. And to be honest, I couldn't stand the unfair treatment I was getting from you anymore. For that reason, I won't tolerate it anymore, nor will I hold back.
You do know you gave birth to the next heir of the family business, right? Get back here this instant. Stop this nonsense. There's too much for us to do to be wasting time on this mess.
I think you have it wrong. There's not one thing at the house that I need to do. Please do what you have to do to forget about us and move forward. Just worry about yourself from now on, please.
Are you being serious right now?
We are officially cutting ties with you. We want nothing to do with you anymore.
You're cutting ties? Callie, what exactly are you trying to say here? If you're really saying what I think you mean, then I'll never forgive you for doing something so selfish.
Oh, really? You won't forgive me? Are you trying to hurt me by saying that? There's nothing else you can do or say to hurt me, let alone stop me from cutting ties with you. Tell me, is there something you can do? Anything?
I won't be helping you two at all when it comes to the baby celebrations. You won't have any of my assistance. I'll make sure my daughter's babies get all of the attention. I'll spoil her rotten and won't give any attention to your baby.
That doesn't bother us at all. In fact, things will be better that way. Regardless, that's exactly what cutting ties means. You'll have no part in any of our lives. But we do plan on staying connected with Kent's dad. Please don't misunderstand. When we call asking for him, he will surely be a part of his grandchild's life.
There's no way I'll let him be involved if I'm not.
No matter what you say, I don't think this is something you can stop. Even your husband couldn't forgive your attitude and actions towards me. What you say won't make a difference at all. Instead of siding with you, he decided to side with us on this matter. Oh, and I spoke to your daughter too. Apparently, staying with you was an awful decision. She says she never wants your help with her baby again.
What did you just say? Do you have any idea how much I did to help her when she was here?
I did hear about a few things. She told me how you forced her to breastfeed and clean the house, in addition to taking care of her newborn twins. No wonder she was so angry. Anyone in that situation would be. She also said she didn't stay with you for long. She left soon after giving birth. I guess that's why you tried rushing me back sooner than we had originally planned. Am I right?
All of this complaining and bad-mouthing must be due to her hormones. They've been a little out of control since she gave birth. It wasn't even that serious. We just had a little argument, and that's it.
That may be the case for you, but people don't forget how others make them feel, especially when it's during one of the most difficult times in their lives. I heard you even looked her straight in the face and said her twins were ugly. Did you really say something so insensitive to a woman who just gave birth? That's not something you say to someone who just went through hours of labor to bring their children into the world.
It was a mistake. I didn't even think I said it out loud. It was a small mistake. That said, are you really not coming back to the house?
No, I'm not. I already have a house of my own to return to. I don't need your house anymore.
I was really looking forward to meeting my grandson, Callie. I know I said a lot of things to you and was probably really annoying, but I did it out of love and to prepare you for what's to come. I wanted to make sure you'd be able to handle everything that is about to happen.
If only you could have actually listened to me when I said I wasn't feeling well. That part was very important. You can't ignore someone's health for your personal goals. You are right. Pregnancy isn't a sickness, but it takes a toll on your body the same way, if not worse at times. More so, everyone deals with pregnancy differently. Just because you're a star and didn't have any problems during yours, it doesn't mean it would be the same for me.
I'm so sorry. I'll properly apologize. So please stop saying you're not coming home.
It's a little too late for that. I've already moved and that's not going to change. And just because you apologize doesn't mean I'll move back. I have no plans of ever living with you again. That would be the dumbest decision ever. You're the one who told me to get out in the first place.
That's not what happened. All I did was tell you to go visit your parents' house. I never said to leave.
But at first, didn't you tell me to give birth in your hometown near your house? You didn't mention me going back to my parents. That's the whole reason I wasn't prepared to visit my parents' house in the first place. It wasn't originally a part of the plan. You knew that, and you still suddenly told me to get out. Do you know how difficult it was to find a hospital with such short notice? Even when I did find one, they wouldn't let me register. I heard you even forced her daughter to come home to give birth. She didn't initially plan for that either.
Of course. I just wanted to be near her and be her support during the birthing process.
Then you should have told me to go back to my parents' house from the beginning. Why wait? But not doing that. I also cause problems for Star as well.
To be honest, I wasn't thinking clearly. I completely forgot that you weren't going back home until I started talking to Star. She mentioned that you weren't going home, and that's when I realized the same thing. I had no choice but to rush you out to make space for her.
Leah, it doesn't really matter. I'm tired of hearing your excuses at this point. And like I said before, I want nothing else to do with you, so I won't even be seeing or speaking to you after this.
So, am I really not going to meet my grandson? He's supposed to be next to inherit the business.
Can you stop assuming things? Next to inherit the business? No, that's not what we have in mind for our child. Our child will grow up like a normal kid without all of that. And you keep saying grandson as if you were already told the sex. Whether it's a boy or a girl. We can do without discrimination and preferential treatment. Just the thought of that is ridiculously uncomfortable.
Callie, I am so sorry. I'll try my best to not say anything rude or offensive from now on. I never meant for anything to come out that way. I won't be asking you to do any housework or force you to do anything you don't want to, either. I promise. You don't have to live with me. That's fine. Just don't cut ties with me, please.
I've already made up my mind about this. I won't be changing at all. After forcing me to live with you, I've acquired nothing but dislike towards you. There's not one good memory I have for my time with you. And the one thing I can't forgive is how you've kicked me out of the house. So this is all your fault. You deserve the outcome. How about you take responsibility for what you've done and not make excuses? I completely severed all ties with my mother-in-law after our confrontation. It was a liberating decision. Although my husband received numerous calls from her, pleading for forgiveness, it was too late. He had always been discontented with how she treated me, and he couldn't let it slide. Since we had plans to move out regardless, nothing changed for us. We both cut all connections with her. Star also followed suit, prohibiting her from seeing her baby. My father-in-law was the only one who could visit the twins. I heard that Leah is remorseful and has altered her behavior, but regardless of her actions, I have no intention of ever seeing her again until the kids are old enough to decide if they want to meet her themselves. With the assistance of my parents, I relocated to a new home. They have been an incredible support system, aiding with cleaning and looking after the baby. I've always had a weak immune system, which has caused various issues. It's unfortunate, but I am certain that I will need the support of those around me for various tasks in the future. Nevertheless, I am determined to do my utmost and work diligently to live a healthy and robust life. I am immensely grateful to them and everyone who has helped me. I made a promise to myself and my family that I would create a joyful home with my husband and kids. Hi Joyce, how are you? It's been 2 months since we saw each other at Thanksgiving dinner. I thought we would see you on Christmas, but somehow things didn't work out and we missed you. How have you been for the last few months? I hope everything is okay.
Hey, what are you trying to say? You sound like you wish something didn't go okay. Did you need me to say something like nothing in my life worked out, I hate it?
Of course not. I was just trying to be friendly. I didn't mean to offend you.
You offended me regardless of your intention. You should watch out what you're saying.
Will do, Joyce. Please don't misunderstand.
Why did you text me anyway? I'm 100% positive that you didn't text me to congratulate me for my son getting a job with a high salary. What else might there be for you to call me? Is there anything you want to say to me?
Actually, that's exactly why I called you. Congratulations, Joyce, for Henry finally getting a job. It took him a while, but it's good that he got one, even better for a high salary. It was certainly worth it to take it slow.
Did you say finally? I'm sure he only took 2 years to get a job, but the unemployment rate is through the roof these days. Why would you say that to Henry? There are so many kids who stick to their parents without a job because they couldn't get one. I'm sure Henry has accomplished a lot. It might sound like bragging, but there's no one like my son. He can be a little spoiled sometimes because he has a free soul. Yet, he has a sociology degree from such a prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino. And most of all, he is very handsome and tall. Not to mention his nice personality that comes with his good looks. He is a pearl that shines true worth after sitting under the mud for years. Don't you agree with me? He's just the best, I can't ask for more.
Yeah, I agree with you. He can be one of the good ones.
What do you mean he can be one of the good ones? He doesn't have to be compared to anyone else, he is absolutely the best. Is it so hard to agree with me? You don't need to mean what you're saying, you can just pretend that he is the best. What is wrong with you?
Sure, you're right. All moms believe their kids are the best no matter what.
You should see yourself in what you're saying, you're so annoying. I understand that you're jealous of me and my son. But don't be so obvious because you're pathetic. You're so twisted that you can't be generous to your nephew for once, aren't you? You should say congratulations even if you don't mean it.
That's why I said congratulations and meant it.
So you reached out to me to congratulate me? Because you sound like you're being sarcastic.
That's not true. I genuinely wanted to express my feelings for how happy I am for Henry. And there's one more thing that I wanted to ask you.
Of course there is. I knew that it wasn't just about Henry. What is it?
I heard something about the entire family going on a trip this weekend from Megan. I was talking to Megan this morning to discuss what we should do for Janice's birthday when she brought it up. She said you're funding a trip to San Diego because Henry got a job, is that true?
Yes, that's true. You heard right.
But you never told me about it. If it's for the entire family, then me and my husband and my kid should be included. I thought maybe you forgot to mention it to me. I wanted to confirm with you because I need to plan ahead.
I didn't forget, I just didn't know how to tell you. I wasn't sure if I should tell you or not.
Why were you not sure about it?
Well, you're always sensitive about me and my son. I didn't know how you would react if I told you Henry got a high-salary job. I didn't want to make you jealous. You know how Henry and Arthur were in the same grade and went to the same school all throughout their academic years until they graduated from high school. They were in this weird position where they had to compete with each other all the time. And I was pretty uncomfortable with that. You did all you could do for Arthur to go to a better college than Henry. But look where he ended up. He's staying at home and helping your business from time to time instead of getting a real job. What was your business again? Oh, I'm sure it's so insignificant that I don't need to waste my time asking about it. Well, he went to UCLA. And it's not that much better than Cal State San Bernardino anyway. I was sure you would be uncomfortable with me and Henry if you found out he got a job and your son didn't. So I was debating if I should take you and Arthur or not. I thought maybe I shouldn't include you guys in the trip. I thought I was being considerate. And I don't mind if you want to come with the rest of us. But I apologize if I offended you. I didn't mean to hurt you.
You didn't offend or hurt me at all. What would the rest of the family think if I didn't come with them for such stupid reasons that don't even make sense? I would love to go on the trip this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Sure thing. If you say so, I'm making reservations for you as well. Are all of you coming?
Yes, all four of us.
Oh, right. Your children don't have jobs, so they should have a lot of free time. I'm glad they can come with us. I'm looking forward to having a girls' night out. Let guys stay at the hotel, and Janice, Megan, you, and I can go out and have our night. How do you feel about going to the bar and having some cocktails and dance?
I guess I can do that. I have never done it, but I can try.
There you go. By the way, I'm leaving a day earlier to see my brother on way to San Diego. He lives about an hour away in Temecula, and I wanted to stop by. I hope that's okay with you.
Definitely.
Great. It's Hilton San Diego Bayfront. I'll text you the address, and I'll see you at the lobby at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Will do. See you then.
Several days later.
Hi, Joyce. We're at the lobby, but I don't see any of you here. You said it's the Hilton San Diego Bayfront at 7 p.m., right?
Hi, Judy, you just got there? Oh no. All of us are heading back home already.
What do you mean heading back home? Didn't you say to meet you at 7 p.m.? I'm sure you said we're spending the night here and going back home tomorrow.
You must be mistaken. I said to meet us on Friday night at 7 p.m. So we can spend the night here and then go back on Saturday.
I'm positive you said Saturday night. You texted me, and I have all of that in my phone. Why in the world are you lying about it?
Oh, is that so? Maybe I said it wrong. I was supposed to say Friday, but I said Saturday? I must have been confused. You know I'm going through menopause, and I'm very forgetful these days. I deeply apologize for my mistake, Judy. I mean it when I say this that I didn't do it on purpose. I never wanted to offend you. You must have driven hours to get there, and it turned out to be for nothing. Say sorry to your husband and kids for me.
Wow, you're talking a lot and making excuses.
What did you say?
Do you think I'm stupid that I would believe your crap? Do you think you can fool us like this?
I said I didn't mean it.
No, you meant every single thing from the beginning. You gave me the wrong date because you wanted to leave me behind. I'm sure you didn't want to invite me to the trip in the first place, did you? If that's what you wanted to do, why did you invite me? You should have told me that you didn't want me to be here with you, then I wouldn't be here. I would have understood. You didn't have to play dirty. Are you happy for bullying me and making fun of me like a child?
Oh well, if you're saying you knew that I didn't want to invite you. I will be straightforward with you. You're definitely right. I didn't want you to join us on the trip to begin with. Why did you want to come if you knew what I wanted? I didn't want to hurt you for something like this. So I tried to keep it low-key that I only wanted Janice and Megan to come with me. You were the one who texted me and begged me to take you because you wanted to come with us. I didn't text you, you texted me. I couldn't say no flat out, so I said okay. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt like it was not the right thing to do to go on a trip with you. I couldn't help it.
Why is that? Did I disappoint you in some way? Why did you have to exclude me from the entire family trip?
Did you really need me to spell it out for you? I didn't like you the moment I met you. I didn't like how you didn't treat me right when I'm the second highest of the family after Janice. And how you had the baby in the same year as I did when you got married years later than me. Most of all, I hated that you had a son. My Henry was supposed to be the first, most significant boy in the family. Yet he had to share his grandparents' love with you, son. So he was only able to get half of what he deserved. I hated how Arthur was a little bit better. Not even a lot on everything, including schoolwork, extracurricular work, and eventually college. How dare Arthur eat up all the praise and love from his grandparents for being just a tiny bit better than Henry? Listen, Judy, I didn't want to be so frank about it, but I can't take it anymore. I hate everything about you, including your son. Thank God, you had a girl after Arthur. That Henry didn't have to share or compete with his cousins any more than he already did.
That's absurd. Children are gifts from God regardless of their gender, and you were so displeased about my son? Why didn't you have a child before I did? If you didn't want to have your son in the same year as I did?
Go to hell. You know how I was having a hard time for 3 years to conceive a baby. And I ended up having Henry via IVF. How can you say that? This is why I hate you. You're bluntly saying things that might hurt people. Hey, congratulations for having a baby naturally. I'm so thankful that you didn't have to go through.
No, that's not what I meant. You are accusing me for having my baby in the same year as you. And I don't deserve that from you. I became pregnant only after a few months of getting married. And then gave birth to Arthur a while later. I live my life only by God's will. But if you say that's a crime, I don't know what to say. I've been in this silent competition with you for more than 20 years. Not just 1 or 2, and you think I was happy about that? I was as miserable as you were.
Yes, I was miserable and I even blamed myself for not having a baby earlier. So what I'm saying is, if you wanted to be considerate, you should have at least tried to have a baby after I had one. You could have waited. Why did you have to rush? You were ignoring me from the beginning. You didn't care how I would feel if you would have had the baby at the same time as I did. I'm supposed to be your older sister, but you didn't show a bit of respect.
Why can't we be amicable? Having a cousin who is the same age and same grade should be wonderful for both of them. I don't understand why we have to compare them with everything. From the moment they are born. When they were babies, you were so concerned about who walked first, who talked first, or who was potty trained first. As they grew up, you've concerned about who learned English first, or who had better grades. You even had to move to Arthur's school district because he was better than Henry. You needed to buy everything I bought for Arthur, including clothings, shoes, and toys, and you needed to get the tutor for every subject. When I got Arthur a tutor, what did you gain in the end of doing all of that? Did Henry end up going to one of the IB schools because you tried so hard?
Are you bragging about yourself? Because Arthur went to one of the top schools in the country? You're unbelievable. What was the point of him going to UCLA when he had no choice other than helping his mom's whatever business? That is because he can't get any other job? I assume he's helping you with the house chores like cleaning and vacuuming. And is that what you wanted for him to do? After you tried so hard to get him to UCLA? This is why people say we never know what's going to happen even tomorrow. Who would have thought that someone like Henry, who went to a not-so-prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino, ended up getting a high-salary job? And someone like Arthur, who went to such a prestigious school like UCLA, ended up being jobless and doing dishes at home? Please tell this to Henry in advance so he won't get hurt later. Henry is not willing to help him at all. Don't pretend to be so friendly with Henry so he can ask for help, okay? Let him know he should make a living by himself. By flipping burgers at an In-N-Out or even helping at a construction site.
You're going so overboard of yourself, aren't you? Your son is not officially employed yet. You should stop with the fussing.
What do you mean?
He just got the letter that he passed the interview. But he didn't get the offer letter yet. He didn't submit his ID or W-2. Or anything that his employer needs in order for them to officially hire him.
Well, that's right. But I'm sure he's going to get the offer letter sooner than later, since he passed the interview. What a buzzkill you are. You're so twisted that you can't wish your nephew well about anything, aren't you?
I'm saying it because I don't think Henry will ever get an offer letter from them. You know why? Because I'm writing a letter right now.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you insane? Who do you think is writing to my son's employer not to accept him? You're funny. Don't be so full of yourself. They're not going to listen to you because you're nothing. Do you hate so much that Henry got a job and Arthur didn't? Is that why you're writing a letter to them? How can you do that when he's your nephew, too?
Why should I write myself a letter? There's no need for that. I'm not writing to myself, I'm writing to your son to let him know that he's not getting an offer letter after all.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm the president and CEO of the company your son had the interview.
How can you be the president and CEO of anywhere? I heard you're the owner of a small business, but never heard of you being a CEO or whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I wasn't able to tell you because you're so jealous of every single thing I do. You're comparing me and yourself as well. Because you're not enough with comparing Henry and Arthur. It's so sad that you have to do that without realizing that. Not everything has to be a competition. I never saw you as a competitor. You should ask Henry about the name of the company he applied to. He will say MD Architect and Design.
I didn't ask him about the name of the company. But you're saying you're the owner of MD Architect and Design? How is that even possible?
That's right. I'm the MD, Judy Dorison. You know I majored in architecture, right? I knew how you would stress yourself and be all competitor mode. If you knew I established a company, I kept it a secret for your own good. That's not wrong, is it?
What do you mean by I was jealous of you? Why would I be jealous of someone like you? When my husband works for one of the big 4 accounting firms in the country, and I'm sufficient with what I have, my husband and son are more than capable. And there's nothing I should be jealous of.
Look, Joyce, your mouth is saying one thing, but your actions are saying the other. I know what you've been doing. You closely looked at my clothings, shoes, bags, and even appliances, and memorized them every time you came to my house. And you couldn't help but to get the same ones. As soon as you stepped out the door, am I wrong? That was the only reason for you to come to my house. Every once in a while, to check out if I had anything that you didn't have and to get them immediately if there were any. Are you still saying you're not jealous of me?
How in the world did you know that?
Henry told Arthur and Arthur told me. He said it's a chance to get what he wants because you always go to the mall and get something the next day you come to my house. He also said you would get him anything if he brings up Arthur using his name as his excuse to get something. Like if Arthur has an iPhone, then you would get Henry an iPhone as well if you want one. Henry was actually pretty excited about it. He could get anything he wanted just by bringing up Arthur's name. Haven't you ever thought Henry might be affected in a bad way because of your jealousy and vanity? How can he grow up to be a normal person when his mom is wrapped up with jealousy from head to toe?
Shut the hell up. How dare you criticize how I raised my boy? When your boy barely does dishes at home because he can't get a job? You raised him so well that he ended up in your kitchen helping you with your dishes. Because he has all the time in the world as he's jobless, right?
It's true that Arthur helps me in a certain way. But I'm saying that it's not dishes or house cleaning. Is that so hard to understand for you? Arthur didn't get a privilege just because he's my son, but went through a fair steps of employment process. He started as an intern and climbed all the way up to the SVP. And now he is capable of assisting me. He is an acting CEO in my absence. I'm teaching him everything I can about running MD Architect and Design. so I can pass it on to him someday. I'm not expecting to be so soon, but it will happen someday. My husband was so worried about his nephew. That Henry couldn't get a job for a long time. So I played in nepotism and almost got him a position, but I guess I was silly. How could someone like you with the biggest self-pride be able to bear to see your son work for Arthur? I should have known better. I believe it's much better to call it off here than standing against each other for being in an ugly situation later on.
Absolutely not. Henry was so excited to get a job. And if he finds out that his employment got cancelled because of me, he'll never see me again. Please forgive me this one time. You know how Henry had a hard time getting a job for 2 years. Your company was the only place that was going to hire him.
He might leave you. He must be very upset if he finds out his mom, who urged him and pressured him to compete with his cousin for every little thing in his life since he was little, threw away his chance to be employed after being desperate for a long time. That breaks my heart.
Please, Judy, I'm saying I'm sorry. I'll never hate you or bully you or leave you out from the family event. So please hire him. Please send him an offer letter. Everything is my fault. Henry hasn't done anything wrong. I'm the only problem here. I'm a stupid mother who is busy using her son to prove that I was better than you.
No, I don't think Henry working for me is bad for his sake. I'm sure that you'll give him a hard time saying, your cousin is the president of the company and why can't you do it? How can I let him work for me when I know how things will turn out so clearly?
That's not true. I will never get in his way. I'll leave him alone from now on. I'll leave you and Henry alone, too.
I don't buy that. And I'm not going to see you or speak to you anymore. This is it. I was being patient and considerate for the past 20 years. But I still haven't gained your sincerity somehow. I regret that if you think I'm still not worth being sincere after all this time. 1 decade changes things upside down. But things between you and me couldn't be changed even after 2 decades. I believe we should quit it here.
No, please don't quit on me. What would Janice think of me? If the brotherhood between my husband and your husband were broken because of me? What about holidays and birthdays? I can't handle all of them myself.
Well, I usually paid and prepared for holidays and birthday parties. So you would be in a difficult position if I'm not there. And yet, you should start acting like the oldest sister. That you haven't done for the past 20 years, shouldn't you? That's the only fair way. Besides, you're not alone, you can ask Megan to help you. After the incident involving Joyce, I only visit Janice when Joyce is not around, and I don't see her at all. Henry discovered what his mother had done and eventually left home, blaming his mother for ruining everything in his life. He was deeply hurt by his mother's constant comparisons between him and his cousin at every step of the way. His resentment towards his mother must have built up over time. It was heartbreaking to realize what he had endured for over 2 decades. I heard that he now works for a small company in Kansas City. He moved 1,500 miles away from his mother, and thankfully, he is living his happiest moments now that he is away from her interference and meddling in his life. I feel relieved that he is content with his life now.